Liverpool versus everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Good to be here on a Friday morning here in the States to talk about Liverpool. And opening up, I'm going to talk with Shaq, that's Jadon Shaqiri. This looked like it was going to be in the works for a while. It looks like at a point maybe it was off. Maybe Liverpool were looking for other players or just trying to kind of mask the idea that they're going after him and maybe someone else. Owen, what's up? So it looks like we got our man. You know me, I'm gonna hold out until I actually see him. I think we saw Fakir in the jersey and the kid talking about how happy he was to play with Liverpool, and then it didn't happen. So this obviously looks different. I hope it's different, and hopefully we can actually see him doing the lean and officially being a player. I've been seeing a lot of chat about him needing to bring a cushion because he's going to be sitting on the bench and he's going to be a bit part player. Listen, we know where Shaq has come from. Very sought after Switzerland international, playing with Basel, played with Bayern, couldn't really get on the pitch with Bayern consistently as a starter. I think that was 3 seasons. Went to Inter, that lasted a few months, I believe it was, if I'm not wrong. Came to Stoke, which, of course, according comparing to those other teams, is definitely a step down. Has improved. I think the last season he had 8 goals, 7 assists. It's another stage for him to be playing for a big team, at least with a big name, and so it's really his chance to shine. James, what's up? Not much cooking, man. I wish I need some breakfast. Give me some ideas for something to cook for the breakfast. But so yeah, this is not a guy going into this window that I was totally keen on. Once it came about and you saw how much he cost, you thought, okay, that's kind of a steal. You take him. You like his firepower, his physicalness, or physicality, I should say. His pace, of course, is really good. I think he can become what we would think of as a Klopp kind of player, a Liverpool player under Klopp, pressing, and he definitely works hard. Now, back to the starting thing. Listen, I get what people are saying, but for all I know, we could come in with the 4-2-3-1, and he can play across that three in the front with Firmino being up top, or maybe Salah being up top with Firmino underneath, Shaqiri on the right, Mane on the left. You know, call me crazy, but I think that could work. But he also could on the bench, and we can continue with a 4-3-3 like we've been doing. I prefer a 4-2-3-1. I think it gets more of your kind of attacking players involved. You can have Fabinho and Keita kind of taking turns as far as who's sitting. I say taking turns because as much as people don't want to say it, Keita can play a DM role very, very good. He can be all over the pitch. And so, sure, you could say, well, that's taken away from his skill, which is getting forward, being creative. I don't think that's the fact. Like I said, you take if you play those two sitting, they both can take or switch. One can be holding during the game, one can go forward, and vice versa. So I'm not going to rule that totally out. And again, it allows us to use more of our attacking players. But the idea of him being a kind of a spark off the bench is something that is nice. We still don't know what we're going to get from Sturridge. Is he going to hang around? Is he going to be used? Is Solanke going to hang around? Solanke to me has been piss poor in the preseason so far. Don't mean to be harsh, but he hasn't really been that great. James says, do you remember the last time we tried to sign him? It was about 2 to 3 years ago. I do vaguely remember that. I can't remember all the details and what the money was looking like and all of that. But listen, it's good to see a guy that apparently we tried to get at some point, didn't get him for whatever reason. We have him now. It says a lot about Shaqiri, though. That I'm sure he had other offers on the table that he would have been guaranteed to start. Now, I don't know the conversation he's had with the club and Jurgen Klopp. Again, I'm not ruling out the idea that we may see more of him than we think. So we'll see. But it is a situation where it does add a little bit more depth. There's been people saying all of a sudden we have an amazing depth now. I don't subscribe to that belief because we signed one attacking player. There's thoughts about Genie leaving, going back to, or not going back, but playing in Turkey, I think under one of his former managers. So I don't know. Players want to play, and you could get the idea that maybe Genie feels like he won't be a part of the team as much as he wants to be with the new signings we've made. That to me is a weak mentality. because you never know. You fight for your role. If you and again, this is all alleged and rumors. I don't know if Genie's even saying these things. I'm just saying if he is, it's a weak mentality for me. You fight for your role. You're there now ahead of Henderson as far as being with the team right now. Henderson still has to play the third place game, which I think is the stupidest thing ever in the World Cup. I don't know why that's even a thing, but he'll still be there. So you got a bit of a head start on him. So why not prove that you belong and you can start and so hopefully that he's not thinking that. Hopefully he's thinking, look, I still want to be a part of this team. I still want to do my part to achieve things with this team, which hopefully is a trophy this season. So or two. So you know, I'm not ready to say all of a sudden we have great depth. We have a decent amount of depth. You can never have enough, I don't think. I mean, you look at teams like City, they got a plethora of players. They just added Riyad Mahrez, and people are talking about where he's going to fit in. So, there's nothing wrong with adding more to that. So, it's getting a little spicy. We had some sauce to the team. I'm liking what we're doing. The goalkeeper situation. Look, I'm not ready to get totally excited about Ward. Yes, it's nice to see that he gets a chance because we all were wondering what is he still there for if he's not going to play. So that's good. But am I thinking that all of our problems are solved? Not so fast. Look, I want him to do well. I hope he does, and maybe he can become our number one and someone who fills us with confidence. Because so far he's been doing way better than Carries in the preseason. Made a really good save in that first half against Tranmere. Apparently, he's been doing really good stuff in training, that's training, which is good. But I mean, come on, that's not a real game. So look, let's get a guy a shot. We'll see. I mean, the fact that it's come to this though, that now Klopp is like, I'm gonna go with Ward, this guy who I haven't really given any chance to. But listen, again, young players, this is what you want. They will never say this, but you want someone to mess up so you can say, "Oh, here I am. Give me a shot. Just give me that one shot. Let me prove it right." So look, hopefully Ward can be that guy. Hopefully Ward can come in and, you know, be vastly improved and better than Carey. Because that's what you need. You don't need anyone on that level or below that level or whatever. And sure, listen, every keeper's going to make a mistake. So all you people who are hyping him up, when he makes these mistakes, if and when he makes these mistakes, because he will make them, don't start the flip-flop. My thinking is we need a new keeper. I don't mind having Ward around. I don't really mind having Karras around as long as he's not starting. But that's going to be key. That's going to be it's either that or we got to just seriously outscore teams and hope that adding Fabinho, adding Keita to kind of cut up the congestion. Maybe an improved Lovren who's been running his mouth again. Matip's back. We know what Matip's about. He's coming back from a long injury. Is his play going to be any different? Because for me, Matip, to me, he's irrelevant unless he's going to be a bit more physical and less lackadaisical. I mean, to me, so it's good to have another that's more depth. But is Matip really going to show up? I hope he does. And it's a shame because when he first come in, I thought he was our best center back for a period of time. Probably just up till we got Van Dijk, arguably. Even though I guess Matip fell off just a little bit before that as far as his consistency and his style of play. So Lovren, you can appreciate the Croatian team and some of the things they say, especially what Modric said coming out about England and how, not just England, I think the media in general and maybe other countries, people just watching it probably thought that Modric or Croatia just weren't on the level, which is crazy to me. England is basically an all-star Premier League team. All of their players, tell me if I'm wrong, play in the Premier League, which is cool. That's great. But you're playing against a guy who arguably was, if not the best, one of the best players against us in the Champions League for Real Madrid. He's been consistent for the longest time. Besides N'Golo Kante, Modric is the other center midfielder who, I mean, the game comes so easy to this guy. And, we all have played football at some point, I would imagine. And the game is easy. It is. It's what you make it, though. The game is very easy. It's very easy. But the skill some of the skills to pull off aren't, and he makes this look so, the pinpoint passes from different areas on the pitch, the bit of defensive work, breakup work that he can do, just his cerebral. He's very very smart, just like N'Golo. N'Golo gets this title of just like a kind of a workman and a workhorse even, or all he's just got the pace and N'Golo is one of the smartest football players I have ever seen in my whole life. To be able to dictate play like that, to see where balls are coming at, it's amazing. As opposed to a guy like Hazard who gets, overly, in my opinion, hyped because he can run past the man. Running past the man has nothing to do with smarts or a football brain. It has everything to do with God given talent. And that's great, but what else are you doing? You know what I mean? So, with these guys, it's great, and I think what Modric said was cool. But Modric is a world class player. Lovren, I can understand his confidence in himself, and maybe that's a way of him digging himself up, which is all fine. You're about to play against a 19-year-old phenom in Mbappe. You better bring your A game. And that's my thing with Lovren. He talks too soon, in my opinion. And I get it. Your emotions are running. You've been reading the papers all week. You probably had that as bulletin board in your locker room. Everyone's saying Croatia couldn't do it. Their legs are gone. I was in the HH hangout. Go check it out. I kept saying England was not ready for this stage. They're not. And to sleep on Croatia, we had people in the hangout saying that England was going to win 3-4-0. I mean, total disrespect. So, I didn't see that. I think England had a decent run, and I think they got to look forward to the Euros. If they keep Southgate there, to keep some of those players in, cool. But a midfield of Henderson is just not going to get it. And I know Henderson is a Liverpool player. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to knock him. But against a team like Croatia, where you got Rakitic and Modric, that's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. And I think England had players that they just didn't use enough, that could have helped them in these matches. So, but back to Liverpool, yeah, Lovren. Hopefully we get him back and he's keeping this ultra confidence, but he's humble about it. I mean, just let the play on the field do your talking, please, Lovren. This guy is just wicked on the mic, man. Anytime a mic's in front of him, he gives you bars, just straight bars, and you got to be able to back that up. We don't want you being like that young kid ex Tenacion or whatever. Not literally, of course, but we don't want you talking all that trash, wanting to smoke, and then when the league comes, you're dead. So, no, some exciting times. Look, Shaqiri is a decent signing. We know that for what he offers, so that should be good. Excited about it. Can't wait for it. So, yeah, good to see him getting in now, and hopefully he'll be able to travel to the States, assuming all goes well in the training, and knock on wood, no setback with injuries, things like that. So we're getting guys back, and all at a good time, really. Salah will be back at some point. Mane, Firmino, but yeah, we're starting to see how the team is going to be formed, and I like that Klopp put Fabinho and Keita in together the last game in the first half. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes with for the two lineups in the game versus Bury. That'll be interesting to see. So yeah, really really excited about it, and hopefully the boys can keep in the winning ways, in preseason, and just keep that confidence. I think there's a spot for Ojo this season. I really do, especially as a role player, if nothing else. I think he can really help the team this season with that. I know we're playing against Tranmere Rovers, but the relentlessness on that goal where he slips down and gets right back up and and finds a man. It's or maybe he scored on that situation, but he's definitely trying to say to Klopp, like, look, I'm not going on loan again. You're gonna have to figure out a way to keep me on this team. You have to figure out a way to find a role for me in this team, because I'm here to stay, and that's what you want to see. And I know it's still early in the preseason; those things may change. He may fall off. He may get a crazy injury. He might fall out with Klopp. I don't know, but all things look positive. Same with a guy like Camacho, really good. I mean, all the young guys. This is really really good. This is what we need. We need these young guys to come to the forefront, but continue to do it. Not just against Tranmere and Chester and Bury or whoever we're playing this weekend. You got to continue to show that. So, what's up, Mitchell? Long time. I love this self belief. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect other people to? No, it's one thing to have self belief, but you can have self belief silently. You know what I mean? Like I get it. If he didn't have such a track record of doing this, running his mouth on the mic and then exploding, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. You're gonna go against a really good French team. Say what you want. What I mean, they are a good team. They're not in the final just by happenstance or fluke or luck. They have a good team, and they look like they may be kind of gelling now. You see what N'Golo Kante there, how he just opens that whole midfield up. Pogba's able to do what he wants to do. He's looking like the Pogba that we all thought he could be, which is one of the best center midfielders in the world. Now, under Jose Mourinho at Man United, all respect to Mourinho, great coach, great manager. We haven't really, we've seen moments and glimpses of what Pogba can do, but nothing like what he was doing at Juventus and nothing like what he's doing now with the France team, in my opinion. James says, to be honest, he was lucky to be picked for Croatia's squad, even though they're an average national team. The way I will believe he's a decent defender is one of the best if he proves it in the season come. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying, James. Like, look. I'm not on here saying don't big yourself up, don't be confident, but we know you've done this before, and you're doing it before a big match. You know what I mean? So look, listen. You back it up, then who am I? You back it up, then you shut me up. Not to say that I don't think you'll back it up, but just make sure you do. Just make sure you do, because I had France going to the final. I had them playing against Senegal. I was off on Senegal, way off probably. But I had France getting to the final, and I think a lot of people slept on France because of what happened in the Euro, and just because you never really saw France kind of reach that level you knew that they could with all of those world class players, so called world class players. I think Griezmann needs to improve. Giroud is Giroud. You know what I mean? He for all the great things that he's done, and he has done some great things, some amazing goals over his career with Arsenal. He hasn't really been able to kind of hit. I mean, that game, that last match against Belgium could have been uglier. I mean, there were so many beautiful assists, or should have been assists, from Mbappe and other players. Matuidi probably had one in there that he just couldn't finish. His mind was right on how to get on the end of them, but he just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. So they're going to need him to step up. But I mean, and then they have a bench that's ridiculous. So I think France is going to be a tough match for Croatia. Can Croatia do it? Of course. Croatia clearly is battle tested. They never die. I think England scoring that early against them probably was not the best thing for England. And all of a sudden you got the football's coming home chants in the stadium. So, I think England was just a bit overhyped. But anyway, back to Liverpool. I want to keep it as Liverpool centric as I can. And Mbappe is Superman, Mitchell said. Yeah, I mean, listen, 19, ripping it up. And HH has said it a lot, and I agree. He's better at this age than Messi was. And you cannot argue that. And it makes me mad that everyone's hyping Hazard in this tournament over Mbappe. Mbappe, listen, I think what they have in common is they both have pace. They both attract attention. You can see the whole left side of Belgium shifting every time this boy Mbappe got the ball. Matter of fact, the whole 11. The whole 11 would. I haven't seen that since Ronaldo, the phenomenal one, not Ronaldo CR7, the phenomenal one. You got whole teams just like, oh, this motherfucker got the ball now. We got to really, shut him down, and they still couldn't do it. But where it clicks for me is that he's smart as well. It's not just raw natural ability, and I say that because how many times did Hazard duck past a man, drop a shoulder, because he's a shoulder dropping merchant. That's all you guys hyping for, not because I don't think he's world class. I don't know if he ever will be. And there's talk about him going to Real Madrid. Look, if he goes to Real Madrid and drops the ball, please don't ever mention Hazard to me again. I don't think he has it in his locker to succeed at a club like that. But that's me. We'll see. But how many times did he have a chance to slide in Lukaku, square the ball to Lukaku? He's not as cerebral as even Mbappe at this young age, or any other very good, a Robin, or any other great winger who's more than just pace and power, or tricks and shit. You know what I mean? Like, Mbappe at a young age is very, very smart and reads this game very, very good. So, when you love football, you watch all of these things. You don't just watch for goals or, great saves, or you actually watch the game in every single position, or at least go back and watch, because there's so many things to be seen. And even in a game that's 1-1 or 0-0, there's so many really quality things to see throughout the course of a football game. And it's not just about goals. Yes, that wins you games, but I'm talking about just enjoying a football match. People were talking about how the Portugal-Spain game was the match of the tournament. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? There was no defense in that game. It was really one man carrying one team, and then the other team having some kind of situations go in their favor, working hard for some things, kind of a world-class goal. But that to me is not a great game because it was 3-3. That's not what I see as a great game. So, I like to really study the game for everything that comes with it. Breaking the lines, defending, breaking up play, things of that nature. So, Carl, what's up? Just dropped in now. Yes, I agree with you on Hazard. Thanks, man. I appreciate that for you for dropping in. Yeah, listen, I think for the most part I'm probably in a minority, but you guys know me. I don't give a damn about that. I probably prefer that, to be honest, because I have my feelings about things, and that's what it is. I mean, Hazard is a good player, but world class status, that's going too far for me. That's going too far to be calling him world class status. He hasn't done enough for me to warrant that. I mean, my man HH, love him to death, but he said he's better than Neymar. That's insane. A better tournament, sure. Hazard had a better tournament than Messi, arguably Ronaldo, you could say, but he's not world class, and I'm not gonna give him that title based on a few games and in a World Cup. Sure, Chelsea got a trophy, Liverpool didn't. You got me on that, but he wasn't amazing in the Premier League this season either. Maybe he was good in that game, but I think he just gets a pass for one reason or another. I'm not really sure why, but he's not world class to me. Not even close. Not even close. So he's got a long way to go. More to show me to get that title. I'm sorry, but yeah, just really really excited. Really really excited about, of course, the World Cup final. But even Liverpool. Every day I'm checking to see. We need a couple more signings, man. We need a couple more signings. We hopefully this is not the end of it. You put Keita in the mix, and that's three signings this season. Giving some guys some extensions. I'm really waiting to see where Mane's extension is, his new deal. I think Mane is, I've heard a few podcasts and a few other, networks, won't mention any names, but saying things like, Mane isn't really on that level to leave Liverpool at this point. Listen, let's hope he doesn't leave us, but to say he's not on the level, I think you're sadly mistaken. So, but I hope we keep all of our key guys, Genie included. Definitely Mane, of course, the front three. Just signing Salah, I can't see him leaving. Hopefully, anytime soon. Firmino's there. Firmino wants to be there. He loves playing with Liverpool. You know that, maybe more than anybody on the squad. At least he shows that. So, it looks like we got things intact. And like I said, we're throwing some more sauce on it. It's getting a little more spicy. So let's see what other signings we can make. Owen says, I think Mane will get his contract sorted when he gets back from holiday. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I don't really know. I hear what you're saying. I don't really know why it needs to be waited till then. I mean, I would assume you can extend the contract now, and then you can do the whole, showing him signing it, or with the pen and the handshake, or the smile with the whatever. But yeah, probably you're right. When he gets back, he's not leaving. His best bro, Keita, came in. Yeah, yeah. That's what you would think, right? But there's been examples of that happening in other situations with other teams where you think, okay, so and so just brought in, that's your boy, but it's all about what works best for players. I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think that's safe to assume that he won't leave, especially now with Keita there. So yeah, he's a very very important part to the teams. It's not like he's not going to be playing, or he's not seen by the manager as a you know significant or essential player to the team. So yeah, I don't think he's leaving either. I'm just saying what the possibilities at some point could be. But let's hope that it doesn't. So the Fakir thing, don't really know. I get some of you guys' opinions on that. You still think we're getting him? I think some people at this point think Shaqiri is a replacement, which I can't really see that. Fakir to me seems like a guy that would be more of a maybe starter than Shaqiri. And again, I spoke about that already. Shaqiri could be play more than we think too. So Owen says it says a lot about Genie if he leaves because of some commentator. Yeah, I said that earlier, man. Like that's a weak mentality. That's a weak mentality because you weren't necessarily number one going into the last season. I don't think. I think it was Emery, Hendo, and maybe he was. Maybe he was for a while until Ox got going. He definitely did play a major role in the team last season, but still, man, you can't. You that's a weak mentality, and to say you're doing it because of an old coach. And again, I'm not gonna knock Genie because I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just saying if these are the directions that his mind was going. So yeah, definitely weak mentality for me if he's thinking that. Because Genie would really offer a great amount of depth to this team. Like I said, he could be starting when the season starts. You're there now. You have a head start on some other guys, so you can't let that be an issue. Competition. Mitchell, you get slept on in the Liverpool community. A real student of the game. Always have your own intriguing input in anything football related. Hey Mitchell, man, that's one of the best things I've seen. I appreciate that, man. It's good to see that someone recognizes that. Very, very. I'm gonna keep this up for a second. Is there a way I can pin that? Yeah, let me pin that. Can I pin that? I'll try to do it later. I really appreciate that, though, Mitchell. I really appreciate that. Listen, I, I I don't have the greatest reputation on social media, on YouTube or whatever, because I speak my mind, and I go to other channels and I speak my mind. But instead of people realizing that and just realizing I have a different opinion, I get called, troll and whatever, whatever. It is cool. So it's nice to see that, man. There's all type of racial things have been said, and I take it all in stride. So I really appreciate that, man. That means a lot, Mitchell. Big up yourself, bro. Owen, I think the Fakir situation is down to us now. All we need to do is give them the money. Yeah, yeah. I'm not really sure why that's. Listen, I think this injury history, past, whatever, must be something really big. I can't think of anything else. I don't really know why else this hasn't gone through. And it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to see enough of him in the World Cup. Look, France is stacked, so maybe they just didn't see a part where he could play a role. But it'll be nice to see a little bit more of him in the World Cup. So look, hopefully when that's done, we'll hear some more things. But again, I'm not holding my breath about any transfer. We either get them or we don't. That's just kind of how it goes, and it doesn't help you to get overly excited or overly down about anything. So we got to let this situation play itself out, and if we get them, great. If we don't, we got to be looking for someone else, and hopefully the club have other people on their radar to get. To me, only to me personally, it may have been a good idea to try to get Moses Simon, or is it Simon Moses? Owen, imagine if Fakir comes in and flops. Yeah, I mean, you can say that about any player. And again, with Fakir, there is a percentage of that in my mind that I think, not necessarily flop, but I, he seems like a pretty confident guy. But honestly, I'm always nervous about getting players that have an injury history. That was the only thing that bothered me about Ox. Other than that, I love that we got Ox. I know a lot of people weren't really big on that because of what he did at Arsenal or what he didn't do for that matter. But I thought Ox would always kind of turn that corner, and it was so devastating and so unfair. But that's football. To see him get hurt like that, making a tackle. I mean, that's not being tackled. Trying to make a tackle, working hard for the team, was really really sad to see. And I just hope that he can come back strong, and it's not going to be something that reoccurs beyond that. So Owen says, I've heard that talks have stalled with Moses. Okay, yeah. Mr. Thompson, what's up, bro? I wish Pickford was an Everton player. I was thinking about that watching the World because I kept forgetting. I'm like, I know he's in the Premier League, but who does he play for? He kept getting Everton. He's had a pretty good World Cup. Does that mean much, though? I mean, I think you could say Pickford has probably been maybe their man of the tournament, especially when it counted. Everyone's golden boy, the great white hope, who is Harry Claim. How do you miss a goal that close? I mean, come on, brother. Come on. That you're supposed to be. And see, that's the thing. He gets so much hype, and everyone badmouths Sterling. Your badmouth Sterling is the best attacking player they have on that team. I don't care what you say. Not the best goal scorer, but the best at putting pressure on it. That's the name of the game, right? As a winger, and the kind of player that Sterling is, you put pressure on the defense. That's what he does. So Southgate has a lot of questions to ask. Why doesn't Loftus-Cheek come in? He's like a bigger Hazard. You know what I'm saying? You can draw, get a foul. He's creative. Look, I give Southgate credit. I think he's done well with this team, and beyond expectations. Look forward to doing well in the Euro, but you got to make some better decisions with lineups and players, man. You got to. Sterling, I thought, was immense, man, on that wing, just making things happen, being a problem, opening it up for other players. But Loftus-Cheek should have played more in the tournament, in my opinion. And the front page, the first page, the 8th page, the 20th page, the back page will all be about Sterling still. They'll probably still be talking about his tattoos, still be talking about why he spends money on expensive food, why he's wearing, jeans with holes in them, why he's wearing jeans that are too tight, why his shirt has flowers on them. There's always things people could say about Sterling. So I kind of root for Sterling. I do. I know he's not on our team, obviously. He's playing for a team that I have over the past couple of seasons started to hate, and to me is a rival. But he's a brother at the end of the day, and I never want to see a guy so criticized like that when he's not the problem. He really isn't. Your man who's been said to be getting the Ballon d'Or, or the man of the tournament. So great. Look, Kane has got his goals, but where did he get his goals from? They're mostly penalties, were they not? The one that hit off his leg or whatever, he wasn't even trying to do, but okay, it counts for him. Look, he came up small in the big moments. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you like it, what I'm saying. He came up small in the big moments. This is your boy, Harry Kane. This is the boy that was supposed to be leading England to the final, you know. So, football's not coming home, but England surely went home. So, yeah, I mean, the Euros. English fans, all my English buddies on here, look forward to the Euro. Mitchell, yes, man, you're your own person. You're not just saying the last thing you need is your own. Take it on. I like that. Seems like this all just plagiarism in the order. Twitter, Redman, smaller channels. Yeah, that's a good point, Mitchell. That's a good point. Listen, and I'm not, some of these channels that I don't really like, are some of the channels that I was introduced to. This is why I started my own channel because I'm gonna be real, as I always am. There aren't any Africans or any black folks that are really representing Liverpool on this platform. You got Drifty with the Banter Boys, which is cool. Drifty's a good dude. Knows his football for sure. Um, Very different style from me. They're very different personality, which is cool. But I wanted a representation of how I feel, and maybe how some other people of color and white folks could feel, but just a different flavor in there. You know what I mean? Redman TV, fine. They kind of were the originators of this kind of, as far as I know, the youth, as far as Liverpool fans, and that's great. And you see that and you say, okay, that's a good model. Not even a model, but just okay, they're doing that. Let me do my thing. So I'm not going to get on here and talk about other channels as much as I did because that's silly, or I have in the past because I don't want to give them any light. You know what I mean? I think it's clear how I feel about certain channels, and I'm sure it's clear how they feel about me. And I just stay in my lane at this point. I do my thing, and I'll never get millions, thousands of. I just won't because of who I am, how I speak about things, the topics I bring up, racially or whatever. I'll never be a popular figure, and that's cool. I'm so fine with that. I really love the guys, you guys who are consistent, are always here. Owen, Mitchell, Carl, Dom, Anfred Roar, all you guys, man. So my man Mame. So I really appreciate you guys, and you're the reason the interaction that you guys give me. Sometimes on short notice, crazy times. I mean, Anfred Roar was on here at 2 a.m. the other day. Insane. So I appreciate you guys, and that's what makes it all worth it. Carl says, well, to be fair, Tottenham is a darling team right now. All them players are getting love. Yep. Thompson, he is a Spurs player. Man, they always choke. Carl, I should get on it as an Asian representative. Yeah, you should, man. You should. You should, man. And I wouldn't mind having you on here. We could do like a live hangout from time to time. I'm open, guys. You guys got ideas? You guys ever want to come on and talk after matches? Let me know. It's up to whatever you guys want to do, man. It's all good. I'm gonna always keep coming on. I haven't done it this much this summer because hasn't really been much to talk about, really. And I don't want to come on every day and talk about the World Cup. I did do a couple, or maybe one about that, but and I'll mix that in with other things that I'm like as I'm doing today. This turned into a 30-minute chat, which I wasn't even really positive what happened, but it's mainly because I see you guys coming in, you're interacting, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm never gonna just come on and say, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm gonna have something ready and speak about it. Sometimes it'll be long, sometimes it'll be short. And I'm definitely not gonna come on about rumors of playing transfer. So Thompson, I'm going France. I'm going France, man. I want to see this young kid do it, Mbappe. I want to see France do it. I think what happened to them in the Euro at home, in France, was a bit atrocious, especially playing against a team that didn't have their best player. And hats off to Portugal, no question. But France is better than that, and they were on that day. And I think again, this guy in N'Golo Kante still is just underappreciated, in my opinion. I know people know he's good. It's not like I have some revelation and I'm the only one carrying that torch, but you can see how important he is to that team. And this guy just improves every single season. Where he came from, I think in the second division in the French league, or maybe lower than that, to the Premier League, win a trophy, win the title with the team who no one ever thought what they had 1 in a million chance of doing, then going off to Chelsea, repeating that skill level, keeping that level high. Now you're in a final with your country. Listen, N'Golo Kante could easily go down as the best at his position of all time one day. You know, back to back. I mean, that he's just amazing. He's amazing, and for a player who doesn't do a lot of tricks, doesn't get a lot of goals, he might not get that many assists. I mean, the things that he does, no one else is doing on that level. No one else. They say this guy Toure at Arsenal is going to be like an N'Golo part two. I mean, we'll see. What I've seen of him, he is a bulldog. He reminds me a lot of Gary Medel, the the Chilean midfielder who's played all over Europe. But yeah, just a little, just bulldog in there, man. Tough, physical, run after you, never get tired. So he looks good. And there's a lot of teams making some good moves. Fulham getting Seri. Wow, that's I didn't see that happening. And for that price, listen, there's gonna be a lot of good players, and once again, there always is. But this season coming up, especially what Chelsea's gonna be doing, Chelsea's gonna make some noise. Are they gonna keep Hazard? Are they gonna keep Courtois? Are they gonna keep Willian? But there's a lot of good players coming into this league again, so it's gonna be interesting. But I got France. Yeah, Carl says Mbappe reminds me of Henri, similar career paths at this point. Yeah, yeah. I think Mbappe. I agree with that, Carl. I think Mbappe has the potential to be even better. Dare I say? It might be blessed and amazing, but I think Mbappe has the potential to be just slightly better. I think. What numbers does Shaq do next season, in your opinion? Appearance go. Man, Mitchell, that's a good question. Hard to say right now, but I don't want to cop out of your question. So I will say he had 8 and 7 last year. I say he gets double digits at Liverpool, even if he's not starting every game. I think he can be that spark we need as a 12th man coming off the bench. I think he really can do that. That's 12th man, but you know what I mean. Like, that extra guy come off the bench, because last season we didn't really, and parts of that season, especially attacking talent, we didn't really have that. Solanke didn't give you any confidence. Sturridge was gone to West Brom, and so we know what that was. So we weren't giving Woodburn any chances. So I think be delighted with double digits from a sub, exactly what we need. Yeah, so 10. Yeah, and I mean across all competitions. What's your opinion on Lovren's comment? Yeah, I'm gonna get back. I talked about that earlier, but I don't mind revisiting that. That's a good question too. So let me just finish with Mitchell's thought here. And yeah, I think Shakira can give us double digits. I think that's going to be key for him to do so. I think that should be his goal. Like I said, even if it's 10, he needs to be fighting to get 10. If he's getting 8, but we're putting in goals that we did last season from all over the pitch. Naby, you got to believe Naby's gonna add into that. If you get Fekir, you got to agree he's going to do that. Firmino, Mane, Salah, of course. But we need more goals from the midfield. And I don't really know even what formation we're going to have. I would love to see 4-2-3-1 against West Ham. Going in with that, seeing how that works. I would love to see that more in the preseason, because that, I think, really fits us the best with the talent we have. So appearances, it's tough to say. I think he gets a good number. I think he gets at least half. At least half of the season he's in, if not more. A number of games, it's hard to really say. We're fighting on a lot of different fronts. I think he plays a lot of games. I'll say that. I think he plays a lot of games in all competitions. And like I said, I think he'll start more than people think. So that's my opinion on that. I hope I gave you a good answer on that one. Assist, I say maybe 7-8. What he did with Stoke, I think he can easily get that. So yeah, Thompson. Yeah. So do you rate Shaq before? Wow, you guys got good questions. I'm trying to get to them as quick as I can. Michael. Opinion on Lovren's. Yeah, so look, I love Lovren's confidence. That you always want to see that, especially in a player who you think at times maybe lacked that. I think he was a bit rash in the English game, and I think that wasn't just a surprise. He's playing against Harry Kane. Harry Kane has done him over several times. Most recently, the first game we played them last season. So he can be a bit rash on the field. But as far as his comments, I like that he's confident. I just think you wait to say stuff like that. You're playing against France, and this Mbappe kid is about to terrorize y'all. I'm sorry. So, yeah, listen, there's been so many things that Larvin has gone through, and I get it, man. I get it, and I'd probably do the same thing. You know what I mean? The emotion is running. You're excited. You've heard trash talk about your team all week. How you're going to be tired. You can't beat England. England's bringing the cup home. You had Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV out there trolling Croatia fans, saying football's coming home, trying to explain it to them in their language. I mean, so no one had them beating England. Can you imagine that? So I get it. And so, same with Modric, but Modric is world class, and even most world class players don't come out and say that. But he did it, and you loved it. So you love him from Lovren, but you just wish he wouldn't do it so much because there's so many examples of him doing it and then him falling flat on his face and affecting Liverpool in a negative way. So that's my answer. Hope that helped. That was an answer that was good enough for you, man. I like his comments. I don't dislike his comments. I just wish Lovren would just kind of turn it down a bit and just let your play on the field be your talking. So did I rate Shaq before he signed for us? Honestly, no. I can't sit here and lie. I really didn't. I mean, I thought he was a decent player, and he's good for a potential goal of the season strike every season. Whether it's a scissor kick, scorpion, over the top. He's always doing some wild stuff like that. And I like his celebration though. I like that. I like that. I've always just thought he was an odd shaped guy. He looks like a what I mean, like a bodybuilder in a dwarf's body or something. Yeah, and that sounds harsh, but he's so small to the ground. He's so like big. But I didn't really rate him, especially knowing that he couldn't really cut the mustard in these other big teams, Bayern, Inter Milan. He did really got good for Basel. He does some decent bits for Switzerland. So I didn't. That's the honest truth. But I am happy that we're getting because I really think he can be a player that helps us a lot. Again, with this pace, with this physicality, with these things of him getting these goals, these amazing goals, set pieces. Set pieces, he's probably going to come in right away and be probably the best that we have. So that's another good thing. So again, he wasn't on my radar. I didn't really rate him highly, but I thought he was a decent player. So that's my answer to that. Owen says, when we get Fakir, we have two players who are great on set pieces. Yeah, exactly. And that, yeah, just echoed the same thing I was thinking about Shaqiri. Naby Keita, Nito Nova, what is up, my man? Naby Keita is better than Conte. Watch and see. I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not going to rule that out. That's big shoes to fill and big, I think, a big compliment. But I don't. I can't say here that I think that you're crazy for saying that. We'll have to see. But Cates has already been amazing in preseason. I know it's against those teams, but again, a type of player that the game just comes like he's tying a shoe. Some of the passes he picks out from the positions that he does it, the swerving of the ball. I mean, this guy's going to be a Liverpool legend. You know what I mean? And wearing the 8 on his back. I mean, he's going to be an amazing, amazing Liverpool player. And I think he offers some different things than what N'Golo does, obviously. Just as good as him as far as the battery on him. He can run all day. The physicality has him. That's a thing. Another thing that people don't really. I don't know if people do or not, but N'Golo is a very small guy, but very physical. And that's the thing. People kill me with this whole, oh, he's too short. Modric is, how tall is Modric? Killing it. How tall is N'Golo Kante? Killing it. This young guy from Uruguay that's going to be playing with Arsenal. Amazing player. So it's not about height, you know what I mean? And these guys have heard that all their lives, which has made them that much better and it made them be able to come up on these stages. Owen says Kante is such a beast. Yeah, man, he is. He's amazing. So, what Nova said, and again, welcome back, man. It's been a while. I'm glad you're back. Glad you're alive. Glad you're safe. Yeah, glad you're here. What you said, I think that could be possible, highly possible. I think he offers a bit more than N'Golo Kante, of course, putting the goals in and the assist and just that ability to be more or less box to box. You know what I mean? Literally. He's going to be running all over that pitch. So yeah, let's hope that's the case. Let's hope we can keep him fit and healthy all season, hopefully. But if not, the majority of the season. But yeah. No, look, a guy like Lovren, if he's that confident, look, winning the World Cup, although I don't have them winning, but if they win a World Cup, that can only give, hopefully, Lovren that much more confidence. You know what I mean? It can't be a negative thing. And to be a part of a team and play an important role. I wouldn't say you led either team, Liverpool or Croatia, but playing an important role for Liverpool getting to a final, losing it, getting to a final in the World Cup, losing it could be devastating for him. But still, the fact that you're part of a team that got to two finals of two of the most prestigious competitions in world football, then or the probably World Cup being top and then Champions League, I think right under that, it's big. It's big. So I love it. I love it. Conte is very clever. Almost never makes a mistake. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. This guy, he's another really they're a very, very intelligent football player. He's not just this powerful, fast black man. He's all those things, but he's also very smart and he reads the game very, very good. So, I mean, Keita is may go down as my favorite signing of all time, and there's been some amazing signings, but he might be my favorite. I dare say Keita is like Modric's Conte mix. Oh, you dare say that? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? That's actually a good comparison. That's a good comparison because he has all the forward kind of thinking tools as a Dritch has, and then he has that Conte that physical kind of toughness, kind of all over the pitch, breaking stuff up. So yeah, that's a good mix. He's like a hybrid of Modric and Conte. I like that. Oh, and I think it was a bit stupid when Lovren said he took us to the. Yeah, you know what? Again, the emotions are running. I totally agree with you, Owen. By the way, let me just make sure that's clear. I don't want you to think I disagree with you. But I want to think these things come from a good place with Lovren. And listen, this guy's gotten death threats. He's gotten hate from Liverpool, hate from other players, clowns, probably by players on the pitch with him that maybe we don't know. So he's doing this a little bit. He's doing this a little bit. You know what I mean? So, and again, it's good for. Listen, all the best players, best athletes in the world. You think Ali didn't get tired in the ring? He did, but that was never an excuse. He kept fighting. He's rope a doping. You know what I'm saying? He dodging it. Then he's doing his Jordan. You think he didn't get tired? This guy played in the final with the flu, not just a basic cough, not just a basic 24-hour sickness, a flu, literally. So yes, Lovren is saying, look, you guys slept on us. You said we are going to be too tired. I'm out here. I'm gonna talk my trash, which you gotta kind of love. You gotta kind of love that, but keep that same tone on the pitch when you're going against Mbappe. That's my only thing. Don't come up small. Don't go hiding. Don't be scared. When you play against that boy Mbappe, don't go hiding. That's all I want to see. I want to see you jabbing. I want to see you out there continuing that same tone, that same kind of energy you had in the post match. So I don't really. I just wish he would let his play on the field talk. You know what I mean? We don't need to hear you say that you led us to the Champions League. We don't need to hear you say that you've led Croatia, that you're the best center back or one of the best center backs in the world. Show us that. Don't talk us that. Show it to us. But Lovren's my man. I love Lovren. I do. I really do love that guy. But you got to make some better choices on the pitch and off the pitch, obviously. LFC, don't expect any more major signings after Shaqiri. If I'm honest, maybe Vita, and that's about it. Yeah, I've been hearing about this Vita guy. Am I thrilled about that? I don't know. That stocks our center back situation heavily, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You might be right about that, though. You might be right about that. This might be the last signing, or maybe one more. Not sure how I feel about that. Not really sure how I feel about that. But you know, Owen says Vita is 100% not on Liverpool's list. Okay. I don't, Thompson, and again, this is kind of the bad thing about the World Cup is because people can have a stretch of games and all of a sudden they're amazing. You got guys saying Pickford should be our keeper, which listen, maybe he could come in and be well. That will never happen because he plays for Everton. Maguire, no, we've seen Maguire in the league. You can't have a decent to great World Cup and at least for me and get me to say, oh, okay. Now, I think guys like Coutinho has really made a good. And I hate to say this, you guys know this. I'm not a big Coutinho guy, but I think he's really, really done well in this World Cup, and we could see him playing a really, really important role and coming into his own, and maybe dare I say, being on a world class level with Barcelona. I really see that. I mean, he was Brazil's best player for lots of those games. LFC, it's not exactly thrilling to be linked with players near or past the 30 mark unless it's players like Bonucci, Golding, Chiellini.